Hey everybody, today I want to talk about a situation that happened between a subscriber and his girlfriend. Now I talked to him, and his name is Jimmy, via video chat, and I talked to her name is Grace, through instant messaging. So let me tell you the story of those two. Jimmy during COVID was in the US. He was online with this girl and he really liked this girl. So he made plans to move to the Philippines. Now he's never been here to the Philippines. This is going to be his first trip, his only trip. He's going to come here, he's going to stay with this girl, and they're going to live happily ever after. So he prepared and he sold his house. His house, he didn't own free and clear. He still had a hefty mortgage on it, so it wasn't like he cleared a lot of money on it. But he sold it, he had extra cash. He sold his car, he sold his garden tools, he sold everything. Put all his money together, started saving as much money as he could. And then when COVID ended, he came to the Philippines. He got on a plane, came all the way down to Dumaguete to meet the girl. Now the girl's from Bayawan. So they decided, you know, after they spent a couple weeks together in Dumaguete, let's go to Bayawan and live. So they traveled to Bayawan, bought a motorcycle, they went there, and they rented a house. Now in Bayawan, they don't have the same housing situation as you have in Dumaguete, where there's a lot of houses that you can rent fully furnished, fully stocked. There it's a little bit more sparse. Even though Bayawan has the same population as Dumaguete, it's a totally different type of city. It's a much more provincial town. It has a mall, and Janet and I once stopped in that mall to get something to eat, and there were no restaurants in that mall. The beach is beautiful in Bayawan. It has a beautiful beach, it's a beautiful park, plenty of places to park your car, park your motorbike, go for a walk on the beach. You see all the fishermen, you know, they have dried fish in the nets, on the racks being dried out. And you can buy fish from people who've just caught them. Bayawan is a very beautiful place. So they decided to find a house, and they did find one. They did find one, inexpensive, like 10,000 pesos a month for the house. But it needed to be furnished. So after a few days, they signed the lease, they moved in. They went to Dumaguete to buy everything. They bought furniture, they bought an air conditioner, they bought a stove, they bought everything they needed for the house. Spent a lot of money for this. So he had it all packed up and delivered. He hired a driver with a truck, and they packed it all up and it got delivered to the house. No problem. Nobody charged him any more than the asking price at the time. He paid what he thought was a fair price for everything. It all got delivered. It all got put into his house. He got his furniture arranged. He ended up with a really nice home to live in. He was comfortable, he was relaxed, and he enjoyed it. It was, quote, exactly what he was looking for. Well, here's the hard thing with the girl. The girl never asked him for any money. The whole time they were talking online, the whole time that they were together, she never asked for any extra money. He did say he had her on an allowance once they met and they decided to live together. The amount of the allowance, I didn't ask, but it was a trivial amount. I'm going to assume it was less than, 10,000 pesos a month. So now they're living together. But the trouble is, he does not like the Philippines. He does not like the weather. He does not like the heat. He does not like how hot it is in the sun, and you got to go find a tree to go under to find shade, to just be cooler for a moment. He did not like the rainy season. It rained a lot while he was here. He just did not like the Philippines. He did not like the Filipino food. He did not like having to travel so far to get American style food. You have to come all the way into Dumaguete to find the food that he wanted to eat. He would go to the specialty shops and gets his cheese and his special beef. And you have to haul it all the way back to Bayawan, which is over 100 kilometers from Dumaguete proper to Bayawan. and he just didn't like the traffic. And you know, riding a motorbike in the province, it wasn't too bad, but you know, the dogs and the roosters and the potholes and you know, the inconsideration driving where you think everybody should give you the right of way instead of, they drive different here, and he never got used to the difference of the driving. He didn't like the Philippines. So you know, in the back of my head, I'm listening to his story, and it's, why'd you move here if you didn't like the Philippines? And I asked him that question point blank. I said, why didn't you come here first and visit? And he goes, I didn't want to waste the money of a trip there to meet her that I knew I liked her already, come back to the US and do it again. He just wanted to get it over with, get everything done and move on. He had that excitement building up of going on his retirement and going to live in an exotic country with an exotic girlfriend and have a great life that he's read about, seen on YouTube, had other people tell him how great it was. And he found a good girl. And the thing is, he did find a good girl. This girl wasn't scamming him, wasn't taking him for any money. The family didn't bother him. Everything was good. He just did not like the Philippines. Again, he did not like the traffic, did not like driving in it. He didn't like the noise, karaoke, like I said, the roosters, the dogs barking all the time. Being out in the boonies of Bayawan. Maybe he was used to a little bit more of a city life, and not a big city life, but maybe just go to the bowling alley and have a beer. You don't have that here. And I think those are the things that piled on him to not like the Philippines. And he was starting to get more and more short-tempered as time went on. And I think this brought the downfall. I think this brought the downfall of his relationship. Because he told me after 7 or 8 months, he didn't like her anymore. He did not want to live with this girl. And they were having arguments and they were fighting about every little thing. He didn't like the ants in the house. He didn't like seeing those big flying cockroaches in the living room every now and then. He did not like the noise of the mice crawling through the attic. All these things bothered him. He was, quote, a Western man from the US who came to the Philippines to have a great retirement life with a great woman, but he doesn't like the country and he doesn't like that style of living. So he gave up. He got argument with her one day and just said, that's it, we're done, and he left. And he just packed up his stuff, and I'm just talking about his clothes, his suitcase, enough to get on an airplane, and he left. Now here she is left with a house. Good thing she didn't put her name on the lease. At least she could sell everything that was in the house, but he was gone. So he's going back to the States, but he sold everything. He sold his house, he sold his car, he sold his belongings. All he has with him is his suitcase, his backpack, and everything that he can carry with him back to his home country, back to the US. The point of this is, you can end up finding that perfect girl, but if you don't like the country, why come here? Don't come to the Philippines unless you like the Philippines. Come here, put your boots on the ground. These are stories I'm going to share with you about guys who come here and they do things wrong. They get scammed or they did things so idiotic that it backfired, or they did everything right and it just didn't work out. I'm going to share these stories that I've been getting through emails with you guys, and I try to verify them the best I can. If I find the story interesting, I will share them with you. But he did not like living in Southeast Asia. He did not like living on these islands of the Philippines. At least Negros, at least Bayawan. Because remember, he came here, he flew to Manila, from Manila to Dumaguete, and Dumaguete, they went to Bayawan. Those are the 3 places he's been. And one is only an airport. Dumaguete, he got to see the city. In Bayawan, he lived in. That's really not a great example of life in the Philippines, of different places to live. You can ruin your whole life if you decide to move here to the Philippines, sell everything, invest heavily in the Philippines with furniture and a car or a motorbike and things you buy and a girlfriend and rent and deposits for the rent, utilities. And he bought all new furniture. I just can't imagine the cost of a lot of new furniture. So make sure you like the Philippines. Make sure you come here with your boots on the ground and check it out. Don't do what James did. Don't make the same mistake he made and come here and find a perfect girl. He found a good girl. Trouble was, he didn't like where she lived. And if you don't like the Philippines, you should try somewhere else. Definitely don't sell everything unless you're 100% sure this is for you. Make sure you can get back to your home country and make sure you can start again in your home country without taking too big of a beating. And like I said, I hope he was able to save a lot of the money that he got from everything he sold. But the way inflation's been going, there's no way he's getting back what he sold and with all the money he spent. Everybody was a loser except the vendors. He lost money. The girl, when she goes to sell everything, she's going to end up selling it at a discount. And the only people who made money were the people he bought all this stuff from. So I wish Grace a lot of luck. She seemed like a very nice girl when we talked to her. And hopefully everything worked out for her fine. And James, we wish you the best. You knew I was going to share this story with my audience. That's not their real names, and Bayawan's not really where they went to, but the story's still the same. Know that you want to live here. Boots on the ground. Come for a visit. Guys, leave me a message. What do you think about this? How big a mistake is it to come here without ever visiting the Philippines? And would you ever sell everything you own before you come to the Philippines? Thanks for watching. Until next time.